adults, we certainly don't want to be childish. But there's an aspect of childlike that we do want to be, because we understand that be ye as a little child spiritually. That concept is the same as what in the East is referred to as the Zen mind, or the beginner's mind, the empty mind. Children, the Course in Miracles says, are teachable because they know that they don't know. So actually, we work on a journey of enlightenment to divest ourselves of the thinking of the world. Enlightenment is not a learning process, it is an unlearning process. So it takes the work of divestiture to surrender the thinking of the world that has come to so dominate our perspective. We discipline our minds to surrender one thought system in order that we might accept another. And that thought system which we then accept is one in which the truth of the heart is aligned with the intellect in such a way that we become who we most truly are meant to be on this earth. People who become solid adults whose feet are firmly planted on the earth, but whose minds are in touch with that which was and that which always shall be. Now, you know, one of the saddest things about the disempowerment of any people is not only what it does to them, but whenever a people, a person certainly, and also a people is disempowered or suppressed for whatever reason, the world is denying itself the gifts that person or those people would have had they had been able to bring to the rest of the world. And one of the reasons that the voices of women, not only in the Western world but around the globe, it's so important, and it's astonishing when you think about it, that it is such a basically modern, even very, it just happened a minute ago, even in the Western world in historical time, that the voices of women were allowed to be as open and free as they are. And of course, in some places in the world, they still are not. My point here is that only now, with women able in many parts of the world, certainly our part of the world, to have our voices and to make our full contributions, are we finding that we have our own way of seeing, we have our own way of filtering the information of the world, and that part of the gift we bring to the world is the way we see things. And the feminine self has to do with an act of creation, whether that has to do with what's happening inside a man or happening inside a woman. This idea of something born. And so women, this idea of birth, usually when we think of creating something, because women's voices have not been a part of the major conversations over the centuries, usually when the collective thinks of what's happening in the world, we don't so much think in terms of what we are giving birth to. But Christmas is an image of birth. Christmas is the image of the birth of someone. Yes, in historical time, 2,000 years ago, but the image of Christmas, much like any other true religious or spiritual symbol, is not just about something that happened a long time ago in historical time, but something which happens in any moment when we allow it to occur. And that is because at the deepest level, there is no time. So at the deepest level, everything that was and everything that shall be is. All that is true is in this moment. So when we worship, when we devote, when we embrace the whole notion of the birth of Jesus, we want to move beyond just the historical celebration of something that occurred 2,000 years ago. It is a metaphysical, cosmic fact that we are celebrating here, which is as true of you and me as it was true of Jesus if we allow it to occur within us in any moment. The whole idea of the birth of Christ is the idea that the soul, which in many languages is seen as a feminine, in languages where they talk about, define things, let's say in French, the soul, is often seen as the feminine. You know, sometimes people complain that God is seen as he, but if you think about it, even though we certainly talk about goddesses, and I've written a book about that, I certainly am as into that as anyone is, but in an archetypal sense, when you speak of God as he, notice we speak of Mother Earth all the time, and I've never heard a man complaining, why isn't it called Father Earth, sounds sexist to me, and that is because we have this sense of the earth forces as feminine and the forces of the